takes two takes to win. Play for makes breaks, one must always score. If it hurts, game the breaks will get you, double it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, 2 games after this win in. Rest you again, we're here for the breaks made. Can't everybody keep that 60 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be. Just look around. You got the mountains. You got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yep. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me? Yes, all right. I've said it from when I got here. The expectation, the standard is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talking Vols and my guy Boogie Bentley runs. So shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Now, how did we kick Nate out right out of the gate? Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Got a jammed packed cast and characters around here. Coach Jay's in the house. Dauber's here. Good old Nate Pruitt jumping on tonight. Dustin's also in the house. Boys, let me tell you something. Vols on top. If it don't feel good to come out of that game, look how red my face is. You know, I went to the doctor this week, and he said, hey, you need to watch your blood pressure. So I sat down, and I spent 4 hours watching my blood pressure. That's what happens on a Saturday night. It wasn't pretty. It ain't got to be perfect. It ain't got to be perfect. Go out, execute for 60 minutes or maybe a little bit of free football. Take care of business. Get the dub. That's what Tennessee did. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. I like AI. Because we can go live for a post-game show, and I can pull up my phone, and I can look at AI and see exactly what you guys, all 795 of you, think. You talked about a stressful game with Tennessee and Florida. You talked about Nico Iamaleava and his struggles at the quarterback position. It was not good tonight, but Tennessee got the dub. We're going to get into it. We're going to go around the room here. Make sure you guys smash the thumbs up, share out the link, all that good YouTube stuff. Let's start with Coach Jay. We're going to get a little personal out of the gate, and then we're going to flush it. And we're going to try to give Coach Jay an out tonight because he needs it. So, Coach Jay, give us a little update, opening thoughts. What's going on?
Yeah, number one, thank you, everyone who threw prayers out. So my mom had to go to the emergency room in the middle of the game. She kind of collapsed, had a big temperature. For those of you who follow the channel, know that she had brain surgery this past year. And man, it just kind of puts things into perspective. And it sucked. It happened right when the game was going like crap. But I don't know, man. There's something about good energy and the prayers of the community, football's family, and thank you all for it.
I gave, Coach Jay texted me. We were texting back and forth. I told him, take care, Mom. Do what you got to do. And it just so happened that Nate messaged me on Twitter, like right as this is going on. It says, "Hey, I know in the tailgate show that you said you were short. You were on by yourself. If you ever need me, man, hit me up." And sometimes things have a way of working out. And I said, "Nate, I need your post-game show so you can come on, hang out, talk a little ball football with us." And then Coach Jay said, "Hey, man, I'm good. I'm home. I'm watching the game." And I gave Coach Jay the option. I said, this is your house as well as it is mine. So if you want to come on, come on. If you want to take the night off, take the night off. So Coach Jay wanted to be here with the family.
Believe it or not, my biggest concern was if we lose, I didn't want everyone thinking I was like ducking the chat or something. That'll never happen, guys. Nico could have gone out there and thrown 10 interceptions, man. I'm all Vol. I'm all orange. Nothing ain't going to change that. Not ever. And I know it's the same for all you. And it's why I love all you crazy, crazy son of a bees.
It's way easier to come in here after a win where you struggled and played bad. The chat's showing their love. We appreciate you guys. Look, we're going to talk some Tennessee football. Let me get some of your comments earlier because some of these are funny. Some of these were in the middle of the game. Chris Van Noy super chatted $10 at 8:30, and he says, this is at 8:30, guys. This is an hour and a half into the game. He says Ellerby needs to be fired. Boy, I wish we could get Twitter messages to pop up like this, and we could read Twitter messages on the post-game show. He says Ellerby needs to be fired after the game. The O-line is awful, and I hate to say it, but Nico either isn't ready or doesn't have it. He never gets his feet set, stares down wide receiver, holds the ball too long. Valming for 5 says bite down on your mouthpieces and have Nico's back through thick and thin. That was at 8:40. Rip drops a 20 spot. He says, I support this team. Hey, we can be critical. We can talk about it. We can be, upset, frustrated. Support the team. We'll talk about it. Little Spooky for 2 says, looking like another therapy session tonight. Not so fast, my friend. Seth Brooks for 20. We've got some serious problems, Boogie. I'm writing this with 6 minutes left in the third, so I don't know the outcome yet, but this crap is abysmal. Why has the offense started slow these last 2 weeks? Can we fix it? As always, GBO, backflip spaghetti upgrades his membership. We appreciate you, brother. Pie Man for 5. I will take a win against a rival like Florida. Some bad in there, but they never gave up. GBO, Rocky Top Tom for 5. I honestly don't know how to describe that at all. I'd given up on them. Samson is the man, period. Little Spooky for 2. Dub, still need therapy. We're going to get you through it. Don't you worry. Seth Brooks for 5. Glad we got the win. But, man, I've got some doubts. GBO, Coach, I need your faith in Nico. Still love him, but he's gone backwards the last few weeks. Happened for 5. They don't say survive and advance when you win handedly. They say it when you feel like you're on the brink of death. Go Vols. A win is a win. I'm on the verge of a heart attack. Let's see. Carson for 2 says Nico's out there a year early. Vols lover for 5. I need some blood pressure medicine. Coach Rice for 10 says it's a dub. Defense is great. Offense has lots of questions. Still expect Sampson and Mays. Halsey and Ellerby need to have a in-room visit. Not doing their jobs at all. Matthews has to play. Caleb Bray for 5. Sucks that Josh Heupel waits until down 10 in mid-third quarter to start scheming up good play calls. All I can say is thank gosh we have the defense. Will Dyer drops the $2 door fee. All in Kev drops $1, and Louisiana Ball for 2. Number 1 D in the country. Number 130 offense in the country. I don't think it's quite that drastic. All right, I want to get your comments, and we'll come back and we'll have a conversation. We'll go back and forth between the two. Dauber, opening thoughts on the win, 23-17 over the Gators.
Shoo. Man, emotional roller coaster. The first half, penalties, miscues, play calling was questionable. I mean, it's every time you turned around, it was like, oh, it's third down again. A couple handoffs, and we're down behind the chains, and they're pinning their ears back, and your tackles aren't giving Nico much time at all. But end result, that's like you dribble one down the fairway, but it's still right in the middle. You're playing from the fairway. Got the W. It's funny. I've said multiple times on this network, this team is elite, both sides of the ball. There's so much talent, and you see that at times, but then you see the poor play, the poor execution, and the penalties and mistakes, and that reared its head tonight, and we're lucky that it didn't bite us in the ass. That's 2 weeks in a row that you go in down 3, and it could have been a whole heck of a lot more. Defense has really saved the offense, and not just the offense, the play calling, but end result, W.
Dustin, opening thoughts.
Oh man, it was hard to come on this show, good or bad, after this game, man. Just because, I hate Florida more than any team on the planet. And as we went into overtime, I'm like, Florida fluke is real again. Here we go. But the positive stuff is that they found a way to win, and I hope this is a catalyst after the last 2 weeks that it's like, okay, we've still got, some tightening up to do, especially on offense, as we all know. And just the overall execution. I don't think that it's necessary that we're out of sorts or anything. It's just, I don't know if it's a combination. I think it is a combination of the depleted receivers and the line, and of course, Nico, I think, is so eager to make a play at this point that he's either overthinking or trying to force things a little bit more than we've seen him do so far. But again, he's young, and you can't throw him in the fire completely just yet, because look where we've been in the past with quarterbacks. Something that we can touch on later in more detail, but I thought the second down play calling this whole game was just terrible, so predictable. Obviously we're at our best when the tempo is going fast, but if we get a positive play and then you immediately going to run it just like, without any sort of doubt, like the other side can just key off on that. But again, a win is a win. I'm glad that we're sitting here talking about a win instead of a loss, because, a lot of us would be ready to throw in the towel.
Way different mindset, right, Nate, coming off a win versus a loss. We can be frustrated and upset, but what were your thoughts on the game overall?
Yeah, there's definitely different mindset. A win, I'm not going to go as far as saying a win is a win, but it is a win. Mm-hmm. We have a saying, in the church side of the world that, if it were not for the Lord who was on my side. Mm-hmm. And as Tennessee fans, we can say if it wasn't for a defense that we had tonight, it would be a total different story right now. Our defense didn't play great, but our defense did it. They held it for us. We had a lot of miscues. Had a lot of people talking in the chat about Nico. That somebody said so much for the generational talent. Nico's not generational talent. And I would like to say to any armchair quarterback to please step in that pocket and with that offensive line that is there and try to be generational talent for one game. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter who you are. We got a lot of things to clean up. So it's a win. We beat Florida. Yes. That's all I wanted tonight. We needed to beat Florida. Amen. So that's all I got for the opening thoughts right there.
I think my frustration is because what you're saying is right. And it's like we talk about complementary football, right? Offense, defense, special teams. There's also complementary football. Pick your buddy up, man. Pick your buddy up. We compare it to golf all the time, right? Dauber gets up here and shanks one in front of me on the scramble team. Now all of a sudden it's like, all right, here I go again. I got to pick him up, put him on my back, and I got to stick this 8-iron close. And I do it every time. I always deliver. And this defense did it all night long. They do it over and over and over. But it's like it's even the offensive line, right? Nico, there was one series Nico got sacked 3 straight times. 3 and out, 3 straight sacks.
Yes.
What do you do there? But then on the flip side of that, guess what? There were times that they gave Nico a nice, clean pocket. He's got Squirrel running free, misses him. Nimrod running free twice, misses him. That's on Nico. And then late in the game, you got a chance, little bit of time to go kick a field goal. You got Nimrod open over the middle, and I don't care. People can argue with me and say, well, it was a bad throw. Maybe. It hit him in the hands. If you're playing D1 football and the ball hits you in the hands,
better
you catch it and you make a play. I glanced down at my phone, and I didn't see exactly where the placement was. I saw it hit his hands, catch the football, make a play. So the bottom line is when Nico makes a mistake, pick him up. When your offensive line makes a mistake, pick your brother up. And we got to somehow there's something off, Coach Jay. This offense is not clicking for whatever reason. And it's not just Nico. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just the play calling. It's all of it. We got a big problem on offense we got to figure out.
Confidence.
Let me say this. No, go. Actually, just go. Nah, I'm going to say it because somebody dropped a super chat about play calling, and they got crucified in the chat saying, play calling, you're an idiot. Play calling's awful. I thought this coaching staff made some changes in the second half that we were talking about all week long leading into this game. Nico's better on the run. Let's roll him out. Let's let him make plays that way.
They did.
Yeah, he was way better
also
when they
saw
did.
designed runs.
And they also first drive of the game. I'm like, all right, here we go. Nico's going to pull one, and he fumbles. And I feel like they got scared to let him do it for a little bit. But I think they did some things in the second half where, you know, if they don't trust Nico, and they talked about it on the broadcast, if they don't trust Nico to read the full field, let's give him half the field, and let's set our young quarterback up for success. Coach Jay, take all that and go wherever you want with it.
I posted it on Twitter. It's everything, right? And I said it last week too. Look, when you win as a team, you lose as a team. That's it, man. Full stop right there. Okay. The defense made plenty of mistakes in this game, so let's not say that they played clean either, right? The offensive line made an enormous amount of mistakes. But listen, when you're the quarterback, people are going to remember your mistakes, not your successes, right? They're going to remember your 10 incompletions, not your 16 completions. That's the name of the game in football, man. They're not going to remember a pass to Nimrod that should have been caught. They're not going to remember a dime to Brazil on the sideline that he got pushed out of bounds on. They're not going to remember that, right? They're not going to remember starting off the game 5 for 5 when you fumble the bag after and drop it on the floor. They're not going to remember going 5 for 5. They're going to remember you dropping the damn ball. I do too, because I was pissed yelling about it. So I get it, guys. I get it. And like I said last week, everything in measure. Let's grade this team on the All 11 film the next day. I know we will. It's hard when your vibes are all hard. So I've learned through experience, try not to overjudge anything on immediate response. Watch the full film, break it down play by play. I promise you there was stuff out there today attacking the edge early with Brew to the outside. Mm-hmm. I liked the play that got 6 yards. The design Nico run. Why wasn't there more of that sprinkled in when the same old boring stuff wasn't working? And rolling them out was working. I think we found enough stuff that works in this game that we can build a cohesive offense around it. But this game has to be a catalyst for that change, and we have to push that moving forward. If we do, we can beat Bama. If we don't, we won't, and we will lose that game.
Let me catch up with you guys on Super Chats. Austin Stubblefield for 10 says, what a game. Good night, almighty. I was livid, excited, and everything in between. The refs tried to screw us multiple times, but at the end of it, Nico put this team on his back and won us the game. GBO. Man, they had some confidence in him late. I thought it was going to be run. They let the kid sling it around a little bit. Johnny Freeze for 10, third win over Florida in 20 years. I'll take it no matter how ugly it was. GBO. You know, that's the frustrating part for me. I get people being upset. I get people being angry. Guess what? Josh Heupel's 2-2 against the Gators. I saw somebody say, like, how many more wins? Josh Heupel has twice the wins against the Gators as every coach after Fulmer has combined.
I have one question, Boogie, because you asked me if I saw the whole game. I did, with the exception of one play because of everything that was going on. I saw the slant to Nimrod that he didn't catch that hit him in the hands, but I know there was like a deep ball that he was asking for PI on that was either dropped or he didn't get to. I only heard that one on the radio, so if anyone could let me know what happened on that play, I'd appreciate it.
You mentioned the play to Chris Brazzell. I want more of
that. That was on the sideline.
I know. I want more of that, though. Chris Brazzell showed, and you ran out of space. He showed he can go up and make a play. Trust the kid to go up and make a play, and they're not doing that.
Yes.
They're not trusting him to make those plays. BG for 5 going forward. I think offensively we need to move the pocket. That's when we were having the most success. Ugly, gritty win, but a win is a win. GBO, spot on. And it's so frustrating that we're just a bunch of stupid fans, and we talked about it. We talked about it all freaking week long. But Josh Heupel, they did it. They made some changes. We'll see how they make changes moving forward. Tucker White for 10. A few fun facts. Tonight's game was Tennessee's 24th overtime game, an NCAA record, 16-8 all time. And the first time the Vols beat Florida in back-to-back games at Neyland since 1992. Again, frustrating that people are mad and wanting coaches fired. And meanwhile, Josh Heupel continues to check things off that haven't been done in a long time. Fido for 2. Anyone want to guess Lagway's height and weight? Dylan Elam for 2. Happy but not satisfied. Clean it up ASAP. Sean Cross for 20. Yes, I'm allowed to be happy. Yes, you are, Sean. Enjoy the win, brother. Ron the Don for 2. Just for good old Nate. GBO. You should have said God bless and go Vols. Coach Rice for another 5 says, no excuses. Joey E for 10. That win goes to the Big Orange Nation. Thank you, Neyland. Electric environment. Jesse Gates for 2. The Wild Turkey won't get me in trouble tonight. We're celebrating tonight, not drowning our sorrows. Wade Rouse for 5. Y'all can be mad all you want. We just still beat Florida for the 3rd time in 20 years. 20 tries. Just got to win. Yes, there's stuff to work on. Who cares? Go Vols. Kelly Thompson for 5. What I did like was every time Nico scrambled, it got called back by a holding call. Got to tighten up on the offensive penalties. Seth Brooks for 5. Coach Jay, praying for you and your mom, brother. Love you, man. Hang in there. Appreciate those kind words, Seth. Vols Lover for 20. Coach Jay, prayers for your mom. God bless. Appreciate that. Corey for another 5. We love you, Coach Jay. 5 from Nathaniel Hughes. Is Uncle Rico available for quarterback? Praying for Mama Jay. Mitchell for 2. We love you, big dog. Go be with your family. GBO. Coach Jay was his choice. I told him whatever you need to do. He wanted to come on here and hang out with you guys. Big Orange Daddy for 5. My ex-wife told my son today she hoped the Gators won just to spite me, but I can't hear her because Rocky Dive is playing. Get wrecked. Don't get divorced. Let's not get divorced. Stash Fireman for 20. Thoughts with you and your mom, Coach Jay. Dirty Dodge for 10. Oregon goes down. The Gators go home losers. Go big. Sorry, Boogie. Effing Orange. Didn't spell it out just for you. Much love. Appreciate that. Ron the Don for 5. Wait, hold my beer. I said it once. And the Vols for life. We won. Enough said. We are the Vols. Hush your mouth. Back to the Orange or go. Bye-bye. Grant Sims for 5. Happy for the win, but getting over here as fast as I can for therapy. Thankful for you guys and this channel. Cap Morgan for 2. I'm glad we got a TD, but mad we didn't just kick the field goal. I don't know. I was happy with the touchdown. Captain Willard for 2. Glad we won, but man, I'm sick of this O-line. So see, the anger's kind of spread around here. O-line, Nico. Look,
everybody.
People keep saying, stop defending Nico, stop making excuses. He played his worst game of his career, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. And yes, the offensive line let him down. We talked about 3 straight sacks. He missed a lot of guys open deep. He did. He made mistakes. He put the ball on the ground a couple of times. He didn't play I didn't think he played good. That's my opinion. So I don't know that anybody's making excuses. What's your option? You're going to go with Gaston Moore? Like Gaston Moore is not going to come in and start over Nico. But this defense,
no.
Coach Jay, you said they didn't play. They didn't play perfect. But they played. They bailed you out, man. They bailed you out all night long. They got put in a horrible position late. 2 drives late in the game. Low punts, by the way. Line drive punts, which set up the returns. You get the ball on the plus side. Defense kind of caves there at the end. We go to overtime, and guess who bailed you out? That defense. So, Coach Jay, defend yourself. What are you talking about? I'm taking this hoodie off because I'm about to die.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Look, it's the same thing with the offense. For me, it's easy to go back and after we win and think of all the things we did right when we won. But gosh, man, I could really easily sit here and say, Mertz doesn't go down the way they were running underneath us because we weren't squatting in our gaps. When their starting running back went down, it hurt them too. They had a hard north and south runner that was getting through on backside gaps to us. It was really, really bad when we were letting that go. Listen, our safeties were terrible tonight, just flat out bad. There's no other way to put it. I might only put, and this is off their first watch, so I want to kind of qualify that. But upon first watch, if I were ranking bad units on the field this game, it would kind of go offensive line, safeties, maybe quarterback. I'd have to watch him. I like the linebacker play. I thought the linebacker play was really good. If I want to talk about
especially stepping up
the cornerback play. Mwah. Jermon McCoy, Ricky freaking Gibson, man. Ricky Gibson, I thought had a bad game last week, and man, did he take that personal, because Ricky Gibson played his tail off. The linebackers stepped up. The D-line, they were good once they just needed to pin their ears back, and they knew it. But when they had to squat in their gaps and stop the run, they couldn't stop a fart squeezing through the pants. They really could.
Yeah, I think on both sides of the ball, like, this team is just better when it's aggressive and just take your chances. Like, just you know, there was single man coverage on the opposite side of the field all night long, and we took like maybe 3 or 4 shots down the field, maybe 5. And again, I'm not a coach, so I don't know if that's just reluctancy to, or if there's not enough time. I don't know what the reasoning is there, but usually, you know, when that opportunity is there in the past, we've taken that a lot more. But I agree with you. Arian Carter really stepped up for us tonight. I think he's the one that got the pick, right, and kind of slunk back in the zone. Was that him?
Yep.
Yeah. And just him, and I had McCoy on my list too, and Omar Norman Lott, man, and Pierce. Really, both of those were super disruptive once they got going.
Dude, how about Tim Banks stunting Pierce around and then bringing him through the middle? But then was it Bryson Eason in overtime? It's almost like they knew what play was coming, and Pierce brings the pressure down the inside, and then Eason. Some of these big interior defensive linemen are making, like, they're quick and they're athletic and they're making plays in space that you just don't expect. Because I'm pouring sweat and had to go take that hoodie off, I didn't hear all of the names that you guys talked about on defense. But I think Christian Charles played a heck of a game tonight. I thought he played really good football. Of course, like you guys said, Jamal McCoy, Ricky Gibson. But I agree with also what Dustin said. This defense is so much freaking better when they play aggressive. And it's almost like when push comes to shove and their back's against the wall, they know that, and they go out and they play aggressive. And I thought they did that in overtime. What do you like about this defense, Nate?
Man, I really liked how they set up tonight. I honestly, though, I asked this in chat when the game was going, probably second quarter. I would like to see some different setups on the front. We run a lot of the 4-man front, and it works good, but we kept getting beat. Yeah, I don't know if y'all – I'm going to go back and watch it some more, but they kept doing a rollout to the left side every time. It would have been our defense's left side. They would go to the right, and every time they would bite on something, and they would just drop it right over their head. And it happened multiple times. I would like to see coverage change up just a little bit. And we have a powerful enough front for the defensive line to have just 3 and try to see what we can do. I'd like to see some difference. I was very, very pleased with Tim Banks. He made some adjustments, and you could literally tell as soon as he made those adjustments how it impacted the game. So,
yeah, and Dauber, like, I don't know if you noticed this too, but for what I know about zone, like, as soon as a route is indicated, you're supposed to jump to that person that's, you know, nearest in your zone. And I think we're a couple of steps late on those edges, like Nate was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, but like Coach Jay said, and I don't know if it was heard, but particularly the linebacker play when Peely went out. Those guys that came in and stepped up.
Yeah.
I think that was huge. So overall, I mean, the defense has been the difference all season for this team and where we are. You look at the offense is going to score their points when they're rolling, when this offense is clicking. And we saw that in spurts. Just like last week, you come out after halftime and you roll right down the field. And then it seemed like the play calling changed up. When this offense is clicking and going, they're going to score their points. But this defense and what Tim Banks has done and Coach G on the front line, those guys that they're rolling in and out, man. And particularly for me, the guys on the corners. I thought going into this year, the back end was going to be a huge question mark. And
You must not listen to Talkin VAWLS.
Did show up a little bit last week. We had, I think, probably the worst game on the back end, but those guys redeemed themselves this week. And yeah, I mean, the defense was bend but don't break, and if they don't show up tonight, who knows? Yeah. We could have been ran out of Neyland in the first half.
Yes.
Yeah, they had some really crucial stops in the first half for sure. Forgot what I was going to just say now. But just as a big picture, we're so used to, having high points and maybe you could say, well, we haven't played anybody yet. There's that argument going around everywhere and all that kind of stuff, or maybe haven't been truly tested on the first 4 games and all that kind of stuff. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, this kind of win can only build the character moving forward. So I like to see that we didn't completely implode. Yeah, it was a little scary there when they let them score going into overtime, but to the next series when Florida got the ball first and they just went backwards from there. So the way the defense stepped up from the first half, they're there to the very end. Like they really saved their ass, no doubt.
Go ahead,
one
Coach.
thing. Sorry, really quick. I just want to point it out because it flew into my head. To me, and I know it's an elementary play call, but to me, like if I'm just trying to point out a great moment, there was a moment in that game. I don't know if everyone caught it, but it was a hot call at the end of that game. And I think, let me just be crystal clear. I think a lot of the criticism on Nico is fair, but I want to point out something I thought was good too. He hit a hot route on that final series to Thornton that almost went in the end zone and it iced the game. So I just kind of wanted to bring up that audible call right there. But
you're talking about at the end of regulation?
Yeah, at the end of overtime.
Overtime.
He called that hot. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Thornton.
Yeah,
Thornton he looked like the 4 or the 3 or something like that, or 5 or something like that.
The play calling and the urgency there on that last series for us looked a lot more determined and almost like they're out for redemption from the way the game ended last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of questions going on. People were talking about with Nico, and their chat was going crazy with accuracy and everything else. And it did for a minute. It seemed like he didn't have a good rhythm going. But then the more I thought about it, it's quite impossible to get a good rhythm when you're fighting around your offensive line, but also you're fighting around with play call change. And you know what you can do. You know your ability, but if you're limited to what you can do, you're never going to find that rhythm. And if you don't find that rhythm, you don't have the accuracy, you don't have the right mindset. People, I'm not even going to go back to last week's game. You don't think the same. You don't think right. You are trying to build something. You're trying to get something going, and it's almost like a train trying to start. It's just not going anywhere. And I don't think it's time to light the tires and couches and say Nico's trash and we need to bench him, because that is. If you want him to get in rhythm, you don't need to be worrying about the next man coming up behind him. You need to put your trust in Nico and know that he's going to lead this team the right direction.
Yeah, looked it up. 16 for 26 with 4 drops. For wide receivers tonight. Mm-hmm. In theory, it could have been for 2026. It would have been a lot different thing. But the problem is the overall feel of the offense, and then the mistakes. The fumble when you're driving, the interception when an easy check down is there. I understand that those are too great. It's too great when you need these inches. When you're in these big games with your Alabamas, your Georgias, you cannot have these moments. We have very, very little time to fix it. We made a step in the second half. We made a step at times this game. We need to make much larger steps in this next week.
Yeah, here's my problem. It's so easy to sit here and say Joe Milton looks exactly like – Nico looks exactly like Joe Milton. Looks exactly like him. what I can't wrap my head around. Because it does. I'll be the hero. I'll be the hero tonight. Y'all can jump on my cape and we'll ride off
The
into
hero
the
we
sunset.
need.
Burying Nico and how terrible he is. It's like, man, it's just so frustrating when he has guys open and he misses them, right? And it's like, here we go, Joe all over again. And then a wide receiver drops something. And then we go, well, your wide receivers aren't bailing you out. And then the Joe haters say, well, he doesn't have any touch. He throws it too hard. We can make excuses and spin narratives for whoever we want to support. The problem is this offense has a dang problem. Whether it's Nico, I just feel like, and we talked about this going into the game. Me and Coach Jay talked about it Friday or Wednesday off air. Nobody's listening. Nobody's in the room. It's just me and Coach Jay. We talked about it again Friday morning. Dobber, do you think that Nico's lost his edge, his confidence to just rip it? And then it's not going to do him any favors that he ripped one tonight into triple coverage and got picked off.
Yeah, I mean,
here's my thing. Guys running free. I don't care if it's Kent State, Chattanooga, or if it's the freaking 85 Bears. Guys running free, put it on them, right? Yeah. Guys are free. Guys were free tonight. He didn't hit them. Guys were free, Kent State, Chattanooga. He hit them. Is it a confidence issue?
I don't think so. I think it's there is a weird thing going on with the offense. I don't know that it's what you saw last year when the coaching staff didn't trust Joe.
Right.
And I don't think I'm not ready to transfer Joe's nickname to Nico. It's not, going from overthrow Joe to overthrow Nico. We're not doing that right now. Nico, when he has time, when he has a clean pocket, or when they roll him out and get him in athletic position, I wish he would hold the ball a little bit surer when he's running around like that. But when he has the time, he throws lasers, and his accuracy is dead on. It's those, and I think Coach Jay said a couple weeks ago, sometimes he gets a little greedy. I think it may be a little bit of that, or he's pressing to try to make a play. And it's just one of those things. He's still learning. He's still growing in this position. It's hard to do in the SEC. How about, we kind of step back from this game tonight and take a look at the broad picture of college football, but just the SEC in general. There's a lot of parity. You look at games and teams that are showing up and surprising people. Mississippi State has been dog water all year and plays Georgia within 10. Kentucky played Georgia as tight as you can play them. And then tonight they lose to Vandy. Alabama goes out and gets beat by Vandy. Any given Saturday in the SEC, it's going to be tough. You're getting your best shot from everybody across the board. Listen, I think Nate said it earlier, or it was in the chat. That's 3 wins in 20 years. Chalk this up as the end result. We got the W. There are a lot of things, and honestly, both sides of the ball and special teams that need to be worked on and improved, because your margin for error against the Alabama and the Georgia, if they're clicking and not having a bad game, is going to be tight.
Yeah, and Boogie, to kind of answer your question that you brought up a minute ago, I don't know that it's a confidence thing with Nico, but it might be a slight frustration across the board at times, I think, because, and this is coach speak, but Heupel brings it up all the time, it's like 11 guys have to do their job every play to make it work. And so when you do have a positive play and it's called back for a holding, or it's called back for, illegal receiver downfield, or whatever the case may be, it shoots you in the foot real quick. Obviously there were some self-inflicted wounds on his end tonight with the fumble and the interception. But that responsibility and those mistakes is spread across the board. Drop balls. I mean, it's not just Nico. It's not just the O-line. It's not just the receivers. It's a culmination of all of them.
Let me catch up with you guys on Super Chats real quick. The chat's getting mad. They're like, dang, Boogie, we got 1,300 people watching and 200 thumbs up. people used to yell at me because I would always be like, smash the thumbs up, share the link, blah, 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 blah. They used to yell at me, stop saying that. And ever since I stopped saying that, we don't get any thumbs up. So if you want me to stop saying it, start hitting the thumbs up. It helps the channel. I know it's generic, it's cliche, it's YouTube talk. The more thumbs up we get, the more it helps the channel, the more it recommends it to other people. So we would appreciate it if you guys would hit the thumbs up. If you blast those up, I'll stop saying it. We won't do that again. Let me catch up with you guys on the super chats. Wayne drops a 20 spot. I try not to play Orange Boys on the post-game show because so many of them come through and it kind of people got annoyed with that as to, believe it or not, I do listen. Some people say, Boogie can't take criticism. Well, criticism's not you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about. But I get it. But because Wayne says, play Pat for Coach Jay and his mama one time, please. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out, Wayne. We appreciate you, brother. And I also appreciate Coach Jay for being here, hanging out with us. Backflip spaghetti for 20. I'll take that dub, but I'm still pissed. I canceled all my Vol memberships at halftime. Whoa. Whoa. That's why I thought he upgraded his membership. He came in here and canceled his Talkin VAWLS membership because he was so mad at halftime. He's like, that's it. Screw Boogie. This is his fault. I am canceling my membership.
Is that Vols JP's alter
I
ego?
think it might be. I think it might be. He said, I realized my BVS and I repented. GBO, but with limited enthusiasm. There's nothing wrong with being cautious. I get it.
You know what? I was just going to say, you know what we really need? We need that electrifying offense that South Florida has. Those 3 points they put up today was
You can't help yourself.
Those
Why are you opening up another can of worms?
Those 2 touchdowns they scored over the last 6 weeks were such glorious 2 touchdowns.
Man.
Come back, please.
They're on the Nico hate bandwagon, and now Coach Jay's like, hey, y'all want to catch a big old goalish fish? Come on, Coach Jay. Come on, Coach Jay. Robert for 10, I love Nico, but that interception at 7 minutes in the first half was terrible. Stared down his receiver, had the trailing wide receiver coming across the middle behind him open. O-line sucks. Go Vols. Randall Perry for 20 says, like I said, a win is a win. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Anytime we can beat the Gators is a good day. I just said it. 3 wins in 20 years. Guess what? 2 of those belong to Josh Heupel. 1 win over Alabama in 16 years. That lone win belongs to Josh Heupel. Guess who's next? Georgia. And when they beat Georgia, everybody gonna be in here saying, I told you guys Heupel was the man. Like I'm gonna start keeping receipts, man. I wish I had a book full of receipts of the people that hated Tim Banks and came into this chat or on this show and a fan calling show and wanted to fire him, and now they love him. And now they're doing it to freaking Joey Halsley. They're doing it to Coach Heupel. They're doing it to Nico. Like, I get it. We're all passionate, psychotic people, but sometimes you need to take a breath and say, okay, it's not always as bad as it seems. A win. We won. Let's celebrate. David Franklin for 10. Entry fee. Had to get my together after that. It was ugly, but we got the win. Appreciate you, David. Dirty Dodge for 2. I meant Ohio State. Whoops. Jackie for 20 says, oh my gosh, about to crap my pants. This defense was completely balled out. An old man can't take much of this. Dang, what a win this turned out to be, though. GBO. I'm with you, Jackie. Y'all don't think I'm a freaking emotional wreck during the game, yelling, throwing stuff at the wall. Fire Josh Heupel. I just use good social media discipline. At least I try. J-Ball for 5. I said it was after the Oklahoma game. I think Nico's inexperience is the biggest issue. He had time and still missed throws. Coach Jay, glad your mom is doing okay. Corey Watson becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that. Austin Stubblefield for 5. Defense won us the game, but at the very end, Nico put this team on his back as well. I like that comment. Appreciate that, Austin. Sword the Demon for 20. Can you imagine this team in a year or two? Better O-line, more seasonings on the freshmen. GBO. Dang it, man. I appreciate Robbie's positivity there. And now I'm gonna just drag us through the dumps with negativity.
Can I interject right there too? Like,
yeah, let me just say what I was gonna say was imagine this defense with that 22 offense. That's what's so frustrating. We can't ever sync things up. Go ahead, Dustin. We'll pause.
I was just about to say, do you think there's any similarities between how long we were waiting for the veterans of the secondary to kind of finally fizzle out and get out of the program so we could have something new? Do you think that's the case kind of going on with the offensive line right now too, minus Lance Hurd?
I thought this offensive line was going to be the strength. Right. Coop's playing good football. You can't put it on Coop.
He's consistent, but
Spraggs is inconsistent. I thought Spraggs could have gone pro, but he's inconsistent. I thought John Campbell could have gone pro. I think he's listening to the VolQuest guys talk. It sounds like John Campbell just can't get healthy. I don't know what's going on there, What are your thoughts, Nate? I just thought this offensive line would be. Yes, yeah.
You see what I mean, though? The similarities between, like, okay, you would think that all this veteran, especially on the O-line, because you do need that extra experience. It just seems like there's a similar thing going on. It's like, well, great, we got veterans. Then it's like,
But I think if these veterans had left, we would be in really rough shape now.
Right. So it's like, pick your poison.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I think we might get to. I hope to God we change this, and come next week we're like, oh, this team has got to figure it out now. But I'm almost of the persuasion that if the offensive line that we have now is not going to do it, let the next man stand up. I would, if I was the coach, I would get in practice and I would say, hey, this isn't good enough. What we did this Saturday, what you're doing, getting ripped through, getting knocked over, being out of position. There was so many high hands tonight. There was so many issues that was going on, man. It was, if I was there, I would say, hey, I'm going to watch this week. I'm going to watch the entire offensive line, and whoever plays the best, you're starting Saturday. And I don't care if it was a veteran.
Who you putting
I would let the next man come up, man.
When Hurd and Campbell were out, it was the same. The guys behind them, it was the same thing. It was probably worse.
Exactly. But you got to.
I think Dane Davis plays better on the right side, though, because he came in tonight, played on the right side, and again, like Coach Jay said, it's always better to go back and watch it before you make these statements. But hey, it's a post-game show. It is what it is. I thought he played good on the right side. I need to go back and rewatch it to make sure I know what I'm talking about. But I just think he plays better on the right side.
Isn't that funny how sometimes you think you know what you're talking about, then you go back and watch the film? Like, dude, half the stuff I say tonight, I go back and watch the film and be like, I'm an idiot.
This is the hardest thing we do. And I didn't even warn Nate how hard this is to come on and do a post-game show right after. It's hard. Dustin's always got 18 pages of notes. Dauber's got these old school guys.
It's the emotion off of it.
I got all mine digital. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Try a loss.
Yeah, last week was so much fun.
Yeah, and I had in my speaking of my notes. I'm just keeping the conversation going here because we can go all night, as we all know. But I had in my notes that not only did we turn over the ball, but that when we got the I think it was either a stop, we turned them over on downs, and then that's when the interception was. So there was a lack. Not only did we turn them over the ball a couple times this week and last week, but we weren't capitalizing when we got turnovers either. So you can't have both, because it'll just zap the momentum. And as we talked about, like with this offense, man, it's any offense is going to get derailed with penalties, but this offense in particular is just the margin of error is so razor thin because of the tempo, and then it just seems like if we don't get that first down, or we get a positive play and then we're taking 2 steps back, it's just like, well, this is almost an automatic 3 and out. It feels like.
Well, it's bad. It's feast or famine. That's we're either clicking and rolling and ripping off chunk plays and moving the ball down the field, or it's stalling out because of a 3 and out, run or sack. Or penalty that puts you back, and then it's one of those things. When this offense rolls, and like I said, and we saw it briefly in the third quarter last week, and we saw it briefly in the second half at times. It wasn't even the whole second half tonight. It's good.
There was definitely times they could have put this game away sooner, you know what I mean? I think it was about 7 or 8 minutes left. They could have, even if we just get 1 or 2 first downs, that makes it a totally different game at that point. And get
same last week. Mm-hmm. You put it away last week if you can pick up a couple of first downs, but it's all 11 executing at the same time.
Yeah. And right now there's all these issues we keep pointing out. That's what leads back to stalling out of drive, a holding on first down, a false start. There's so many things. And then on top of that, and this is such I almost wish I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it just because I'm a fan and I can do this. It's like just a small percentage of time. It's like, all right, we're clicking, boom, fake injury. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like we're shooting ourselves. Like we trying to pull the gun out of the holster and we shot our thigh, our foot, our toe. Like we got 6 toes left. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I finally got the gun out of the holster. And then somebody falls down and fakes an injury. And it's like, here we go. They got to fix it. And it's an easy fix. Sit out the series. You're done. Sit out the whole series. That fixes it.
Let me say one thing. I know you've got a bunch of comments to get through and read. You want to say, okay, Nico, he's not the guy. He's this and that.
Are you reading the chat, Dauber?
Yeah, I am a little bit.
Get it, Dauber. Get it.
I know.
I know.
It's just funny.
Well, roll it back a couple years to whatever quarterback you want to insert in.
Mm-hmm.
We lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
We found a way to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good teams, and I'm not saying great teams because I think the first couple of games we were great, but against the quality of competitions. Good teams find a way to win.
Yeah.
We didn't have our best game. On either side of the ball, special teams, we found a way to win. You grind it out, you get the W, you move on to next week, and you improve between Saturdays. So, it's one of those things. So, listen, I don't know how old some of y'all are in the chat, but
that's true.
We were spoiled in the 90s and 2000s, the early 2000s. 9 wins was a given.
Mm-hmm.
And, the last 20 years, if you would have said we're going to win 9 wins, some of those years it would have been whatever. Go on, Boogie.
No, it just makes me laugh because it's like
I feel you, man.
Me too. And it's like, I don't want people to feel like we're yelling at them specifically, but it's like, good Lord have mercy. We want to fire Josh Heupel, who won 11 games 2 years ago, won 9 games last year, and that was regression. That was, we're ready to burn the freaking house down because he won 9. Joe Milton's trash. That's why we won 9. Like that, it was not that long ago. I got shoes that I bought that are older than when we were struggling to win 6 games. I mean, are we like, and I get it. Rolling into Alabama, am I sitting here going, Vols by 50? Not today, but guess what? I will be next week, so tune in. But right now, no, there's concerns. I'm worried. I'm stressed, man. But we're also a handful of plays away from being undefeated. Like, we're ranked in the top 10, and we're crying over a win over Florida that we've done twice prior to tonight in the last 19 years. We're insane. All of you guys in the chat, everybody on this panel is insane.
Yeah, we're 2 out of our last 3 versus Florida, and we're sitting here crying like a bunch of little freaking girls.
Hey, and I think it's 2 big factors, and I've thought about
no offense,
this.
girls.
Yeah. I've thought about this because I'm guilty of it too. We got really spoiled those first couple of years when we're averaging 40 plus a game, and then now it came expectation like it's just going to be clockwork now. So we better get used to winning this way right now, and unless something changes and fits into place, like we might have plenty of ugly wins under our belt this year, and I'll take them. But it's
result.
Yes, you get so spoiled by the flash and the sexiness of the offense when it's rolling, but at the same time, like without this defense, man, it would be a totally different mindset with the season right now.
And it's like, I love John. John's in here all the time. John watches the videos. John puts a lot of comments. He says it's not one bad game. It's the offense in 3 games. They scored 25, 14, 23. The play calling has been horrible. And Coach Rice, who, man, I told Coach Rice, I said, put down the phone and get off of social media. He says, preach, John! Guys,
hey,
2 of those 3 games, 2 of those 3 games, we won.
Yes.
We won.
You got 2-1.
Dog, I shot 6 under par this weekend, but I'm pissed because I missed 2 fairways.
I don't think anyone's arguing that the play caller doesn't need to be better. Like, I think we all does anyone not agree that the play calling needs to be better overall?
The play calling needs to be better. Nico needs to be better.
Yeah, we all agree. I think we all agree on this.
But I'll throw this out there. I think the play calling is hampered by the offensive line play, by the quarterback execution, by the receivers dropping balls. So it's an Oprah. You had a bad play. You had a bad play. You had a bad play. Everybody's got to execute, and that's not happening.
Yeah.
All right, let me catch up with Super Chats real quick.
Yeah, I started.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. If you got a comment, make it, and then I'll catch up with Super Chats.
Oh, it was just everybody talking about the record and everything. Dauber was talking about it earlier. Going back 2008 with Philip Fulmer, I went ahead and pulled it up real quick. It was 5-7. Then you got 7-6, 6-7, 5-7, 5-7, 5-7, 7-6, 9-4. Okay, that's when we started hitting 9-4, 9-4. Then we went 4-8, and then 5-7, 0-5 when this is 2020 COVID, all that stuff. 0-7, 7-6, and then 11-2. Who do you think that 11-2 was?
Same dude that's beat Florida twice in the last 3 years. Same dude that ended the streak to
Right
Alabama.
now.
The same dude that is doing things that we've not done at Tennessee in a long time. And I get it, man. I get the frustration. I don't know why it bothers me. I shouldn't worry about other people being on the verge of a stroke. Like if you're mad and you want to fire everybody, cool. We should just be able to celebrate the win. And when you start this stuff of, well, it ain't gonna work against Alabama. They lost to Vanderbilt. Really? We gonna act like Alabama is freaking Ivan Drago? Guess what? If I can change and you can change, everybody can change. All right, now let me catch up with you guys on some super chats. Corey Watson for 20. Love the win, but more importantly, Coach Jay praying for your mom. God bless, brother. Thank you, Corey. We appreciate that. Marshall for 2. I don't know that we can beat Bama. We're bad. God bless America. Vanderbilt can, but we can't. That's how bad we are. White passing UConn for 10. Our defense won it tonight. At times, it reminded me of old school punch you in the mouth defense. Our offense was offensive. I don't disagree with that. Benjamin Kite for 5. I think that makes Hype 21-4 at Neyland. Only lost to Georgia twice, Ole Miss and Pitt. I know a lot needs to be cleaned up, but beating Florida is beating Florida. Amen. Can I have another, Benjamin? Thank you for that super chat. And shout out to Neyland Stadium. Like the social media outrage and negativity and fire him and fire them and fire that. Nico sucks. That ain't who you see in Neyland Stadium. Like those fans showed up and showed out tonight. You can't tell me that Oklahoma atmosphere matched Neyland Stadium tonight. You can't tell me that Arkansas matched Neyland Stadium tonight. It was electric and it showed through on TV. Brandon Hall drops a 50 spot. We appreciate that. We'll play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
He says, I'm just so glad Florida education didn't teach them how to count to 11 in the first half conclusion, or else we would have lost by 3. Let's go beat Bama. It's ifs, ands, and buts, right? That's why Billy Napier's on the hot seat for crap like that. Like it just happens over and over and over again. Thank you, Brandon. Very generous super chat. I don't know why you had to bring me down and make me a little sad, though, but I appreciate the super chat. That is very generous, my man. Philip Scout for 5. Dylan Sampson is the dude. Straight up John Wayne out there. Let's enjoy the win. Buck Fama. Happened for 10. Nico showed flashes during the game. Nimrod earned his last name. 2022, Hendo threw a deep go to Keaton that he laid out for, almost identical to the deep go Squirrel didn't catch. Little things equal 80 yards. Very true. Ron the Don, Nico made his mistakes, but as the game played out, we won. Tennessee as a team, they all made the plays to get the win. But hey, Florida came to play. Seriously, I know they was not going to roll over, but we did it. We won. Nate Bailey for 10. Rewatched the 22 Florida and Pitt game. There were so many designed quarterback runs for Hendon. Wish we could get some for Nico. I'm gonna say it again all week this week. And they that early in the game when they tried it and they fumbled the exchange. And I wonder if that put this coaching staff into a panic. Michael becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Michael. We appreciate you. Gary's here for 5. Still not sold on Nico, but a dub is a dub against the Gators. Red team next. Thank you, Orange Sea Lion, for bringing some positivity. You had a shot to take out Nico, and you didn't. You brought some positivity. I appreciate you. David for 5, getting Nico on the move in the second half was the difference. GBO, Buck Famine. That's play calling. Everybody yelling about play calling. What David just said. That's what got us going. That's play calling. Now, can they continue to do that and find ways to make Nico comfortable? I hope. Charles Bodman for 20 had me worried tonight. You and me both, Charles. Pretty sure I lost a few years off my life. Redneck Dwarf for 10 says receivers, even with the drops, seem to fight a little harder to make the catches, progress, and beat the Gators. VFL GBO. We appreciate you, Redneck Dwarf. We got pan-seared ribeye for 5. When you wait till third and long to pass it, it puts the O-line in a very difficult spot. Mix it up. Throw some early, or run Nico more. Logan Brooks for 2. I don't want to hear Nico for Heisman again.
You're going to hear it.
I'm going to make a shirt that says Nico for Heisman. Kenny Gordon for 5. James Pierce got some stats tonight. Anytime we beat Florida, it's great. At year next up, Buck Fama. I struggled with that one. Ball fan 25 for 10. I have something to rant about tomorrow at work. Woo! Just don't drop an F-bomb at work like you did here. Ball fan 25. We appreciate you, David, for another 2. Nico looked like a freshman. Nico looked like a freshman, but his line sucks. Well, I mean, he is a freshman, but I think he may be saying that.
His 7th game.
I think he may be saying that. I think that may be.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Coach McGee for 20. Prayers for Jay's mom. The O-line and receivers did Nico no favors. Didn't play great. Don't get me wrong. However, he's young, has room to grow, and we need to develop our talent. Back to the practice field. Tighten up. Cody Copeland for 5. I think we would be better off with Campbell at left tackle, Hurd at right tackle, but I don't think Hurd will allow it. Campbell played better at left tackle next year. Okay, now okay. I'm going to take this and we're going to talk about the offensive line again because that's a good point. Campbell played better at left tackle, so play Hurd at right tackle. Don't think Hurd will allow it. The guy that there are rumors, Nate, flowing around social media that his agent said, we're not playing. Medical staff cleared him. Allegedly. I don't know this. I see rumors, the same as you guys do. So if that's the case, if you've got a player that says, I'm not going to play because I don't want to put bad film out there. By the way, NFL scouts, please don't watch the Arkansas tape. You got a player that says that, and then you got a player that says, I'm not going to play right tackle. You got a problem? How do you address that? That's a problem. That's a culture problem on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm. That is. Were you asking for me?
Yeah.
I'm going to be very careful how I answer that. I'm not gentle when it comes to that. If you don't want to play, I don't want you here. If you don't want to show up for your teammates, for your brothers, I don't want you there. That's an infection. You got to cut the infection out. He may be the best player on that team. He may be the strongest dude in the locker room. But if he's not giving his all for Tennessee, they tap that sign every time they go out. I will give my all for Tennessee today. And if he ain't doing it, the next man's got to come up.
I mean, why didn't LSU why weren't they super upset to lose him to the portal?
Well, they got 2 first-round draft picks at tackle, so that makes it a little less.
Yeah, but I mean,
she's gone. She got banned, Tony. Don't worry. She got kicked to the curb. She's gone. If you want to talk football, talk football. You want to take personal shots at my my friends and my co-hosts, you can go somewhere else and talk to them for all I care. Go ahead, Doctor. Sorry.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think to allegedly not want to put out bad tape and then play like you have, especially the last 2 weeks, because he had penalties tonight and got ran around multiple times, got bull rushed multiple times. Yeah, man.
And I hope Lance Hurd improves. It's the same as Nico. He's young, man. He's a redshirt freshman. He's young, and I get it. I get the frustration because I'm the same way. It's just frustrating when there are the rumors out there, and it's like, do I believe this? Is this the truth? You know, sometimes when something has enough steam, it's like, okay, maybe there's some truth here. Weird that he didn't travel with the team. Just so many things that makes you question that. Let me get back. I wanted to talk about that because that was a good question on that super chat. Tim, the Tennessee Tornado for 5. We are allowed to be happy. GBO, screw Florida. That sums it up. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. Mikey for 20. When Florida missed the field goal in OT, I heard John Ward. No sirree. No sirree. GBO. That's a great super chat. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate it. Blitz 621 for 2. Prayers for Coach Jay and family. Thank you for that. Seth Brooks for 10. Did y'all think that first time Sampson got in the end zone in overtime should have been stopped or no? Also, he's 3 touchdowns away from tying the season record. Insane. D-Samp for a Heisman. That's crazy. Yeah. It's weird, man, because once they blow the whistle for forward progress, it's over. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
It's like MMA, right? It's like if you let it go and dude takes 4 more shots to the dome, it's why didn't you stop it? And then if you stop the fight and then the dude freaking starts defending himself, why'd you stop it? It's like it was a bang play. So it's hard to really criticize that. Timothy McGee for 5. Good win, good defense. Sampson is a player. Like the offense, but he needs to keep up tempo, get rid of the option routes. Timothy's never going to let that go. P. Krabby for 5. Any win against Florida feels good. Atmosphere was awesome. GBO and now Buck Fama. Thank you, P. Krabby. Terry Tipton for 5. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. Knoxville Buckeye, I bet he's upset tonight. Kind of balanced. Vols won, Buckeyes lost. D stepped up when it mattered. Offense got a score when it mattered. Now I feel to sit in campus traffic to get home. That does not sound fun. David Franklin for 10, buy membership. It's only $1. You know you want those emojis. Yeah, drop those custom Talking Vols emojis in the chat. How about a Hypo cigar? Let's get ready to buck Fama. Hypo cigars in the chat. Yeah, memberships are only $1. We appreciate it. It helps this show keep grinding forward, man, especially the morning stuff, morning videos, morning live streams. I've said it before, man. There's probably a good 2-year window. I made videos while I was working a 9 to 5, and I just ignored my job and made videos for Talking Vols. Way easier now, getting to get up, do some research, hang out with Kaner, hang out with Coach Jay. So appreciate you, David. Timothy for 5, Coach Jay. The option routes is why Nico is holding the ball. That is why I say get rid of it. He is eyeballing the receivers. Donald for 5 says, anyone else think we are watching Nico slowly adjust to the speed of the SEC high talent play? Think he is growing and will be fine. Spot on comment, Donald.
Good comment.
That is exactly what's going on. That's why I can sit here and say Nico did not play good tonight. Nico did not play good last week, but I'm not ready to sell my Nico stock yet. If y'all selling it, I'm stealing this directly from BallQuest. If you're selling your Nico stock, email me. I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
There are glimpses. There are pieces when everybody is executing, including the quarterback, the offensive line, and he's getting help from the receivers. There are glimpses of what this can be.
Yeah, and if he hits those 2 throws tonight, we'll be praising him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That alone, you know, just because we've dealt with that with Joe, you know, missing throws, that you know, it's so easy to crucify the kid. But you know, if he hits 1 or 2 of those, like, he is the second coming.
Same thing last week against Arkansas. Like that, that throw late in the game where he rolled out, right? I know I talked about it post game, day after, all that stuff. If he has enough steam to get that ball out in front and that's a touchdown, he's a hero. He leads a drive down at the end of the game, touchdown. He's a hero. It's just so frustrating, man. Like, we have a win and we're ready to bury our quarterback. Let me tell you, if he was a 4-star, if he was Jake Merklinger, if this was Jake Merklinger's team, nobody's saying this crap. It's all because he was a 5-star. It's all because he was the #1 player in the country. It's all because the $8 million contract leaked. That's why people are acting the way they're acting. Go ahead, Nate. You were about to say something when I changed it.
Oh, it's good. We also got to remember that, you know, sometimes the other teams have really good games. Is Vandy really better than Alabama on any given day? Or did they just have what it took that day to take care of business? All these other upsets that happened. I'm not still going to talk about last week for Tennessee. So all these other upsets that happen. Okay, it's okay for other teams to play good, and it doesn't mean that Tennessee's trash and that it's the end and everything's going to happen. Sometimes the other team just comes to play a little harder than what we were ready for, and we just got to sit back and adjust. What they say, get back on the horse and get back at it.
But that's where,
as you're saying that, Lane Kiffin just lost again. So case in point. Point.
That's where a good team finds a way to win when a team is playing their best. When you are getting somebody's best shot and you don't have your A game, you still find a way to squeak it out.
Yeah, and that's what we did tonight. We found a way to get a dub. And 2 out of the last 3 over Florida, I will take that any day of the week. Let me get through some more super chats here. Memphis Perry drops a 50 spot. Very generous, Memphis. We appreciate that.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Memphis Perry says for 50. Very generous. Man, y'all that dropped the 50 spots, I appreciate every person that supports this channel. But, man, it is mind-blowing the way some of you guys support it. We appreciate you, Memphis. He says, Boogie, I don't think Nico has lost his edge. It's the coaches trusting him, and it's the wide receivers not getting separation. I do think there's a lack of trust, and that's why I compared this to the whole Joe situation last year, because there's way too many similarities that are driving me insane. And it's like offensive line, drop passes, all this stuff, overthrows, Nico missing guys. What I'm saying, something's off, man. Like, he was so pinpoint accurate with the football until that after that NC State game, right? Oklahoma, he wasn't as pinpoint accurate. Arkansas didn't have that accuracy. tonight didn't have that pinpoint. He was so like that was one of the things that stood out to me. And I get it, Chattanooga, Kent State. I don't care. I don't care if you're like I said it afterwards. You don't throw the ball that clean on routes on air. Like I don't care if there's a defense out there or not. His accuracy was insane. And that's why everybody in the national media was talking about him. Ball placement. Like everybody was talking about it. So I don't know that I agree that there's some type of trust issue. I don't know that Nico's confidence is there. And who am I to judge what this kid's going through, right? Trying to catch up with the speed of the game and all this stuff. And one of the comments that I saw, and I don't know that I agree with it or disagree with it, but somebody basically said, what if we just threw him out there last year and he had a full season of in-game action to prepare and get ready for this 2024 season when we've got this elite defense?
I mean,
what happened if he got smoked?
Yeah, I mean,
I would be ready to bench him and get rid of him.
Yeah, but it's why I wanted it is because this rust that you're seeing. Look, whether it was Austin Price or anyone, you know, when you're a first-year quarterback, right? It's your first season playing it with live bullets. Okay, I'm not talking about a redshirt year where you sit around and watch, where you're actually on the grass in the SEC and you're, you know, having people coming at you. God, even without no line like he's got now, that's a real big problem. But it was a problem last year at times too, where he went under duress, and I think it would have helped him. It's why I was crying for it last year. I felt like Nico would have escaped fine. I mean, he would have had those mistakes. Sure, he would have had some of those mistakes where you hold the ball too long and you say, I want to throw into coverage and force things instead of taking a check down. But I would have rather made those mistakes last year when we were burning it than this year when we got a live fire defense that's going nuts to bolts and getting things done for you. I just would have much rather had those mistakes made then. But here we are. He'll have this year to do it, and then more time over this season to refine his game, and then he'll have his career in front of him, whatever that may be.
I mean, it's circling the wagons back to the same conversations we had last year, right? I don't think if Nico started, I don't think our record would have changed. I don't think it would have changed. So, but and then again, I get like I'm not questioning because Joe Milton also didn't lose us games. Did he? Maybe because he didn't take over a game. Maybe he lost us a game, but he didn't do things that lost us a game. I said that all year, and it makes it hard for Josh Heupel to have this guy that came back and chose Tennessee to say, yeah, we're going to sit you on the bench. Like we're going to sit you on the bench. You play Nico, and best of luck, man. And what would that have done to Joe? Like, you know what? We're talking about a guy that's in the NFL right now. Like, would you have derailed his NFL career by starting the freshman? There's so many different layers to it. Let me continue to catch up with you guys. Brian Thomas for 2. When last time freshman quarterbacks start this many games for the Vols? Well, he's a redshirt freshman, so that makes it a little different too. So I don't know. Terry Tipton for 5. Me and my daughter were at the game live. Nico missed a lot of running opportunities and check down receivers. GBO. Don S for 10. 5 games, 10 quarterbacks, not one single QB has survived a full game against this D. And this D is something else, man.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Crawley for 2. Nothing to say, just a tip. We appreciate you. MG Wade for 5. Win is a win, but our offense has too many issues to list. Lucky for us, Bama has issues too. Everybody has issues other than Texas. Everybody in the league has issues. Bleed Orange for 5. Dorothy, a win is a win against the Gators. I told on the tailgate Oregon was going to win. Coach Jay, prayers for your mom. Flying Thank Fortress, you. Such an emotional win. Spent the night with family and extended family. Nothing better than beating the Gators. On to Bama. David Franklin, y'all complain like we didn't suck for 20 years. We're top 10. I'll let you read the rest of that. Nathaniel Hughes for 10. Just heard that everyone on the offense but Samson will be transferring. Coach H says no biggie. We're getting upgrades via Vanderbilt transfers and fill-ins from the concession stands. I love it, Nathaniel. Some people in the chat will probably be happy about that. Don't give a shit. For 5, can we pass a new rule that if a player gets injured, they cannot come back in until the next series? That's the solution. That's all you got to do. Seth for 5. Amen, Darby. The only 2 quarterbacks that could have won were Hooker and Milton. You think we win that game with Jarrett Garantano? Nico for life. People comparing Nico to JG is comical. So comical. David for 2. Also, what about Boo Carter? Dog in him. I like seeing him clean up that sack tonight. I'm still way more happy with the play of obviously Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson, right? But also Christian Charles, man. I'm way more impressed with him. Don't give a shit for 10. That duck pulled the truck. Kenneth Gordon, sorry, anytime we beat Florida, it's a great year. Buck Fama. Tim, the Tennessee Tornado, a win is a win, boys. Captain Woodland, everyone is upset tonight, but if we beat Bama next week, we'll be 6-1. Bama will be one step behind us headed into the postseason. Screw Florida, GBO. People laugh at me because I was on that move the goalpost rant. Same thing. It's still happening now. It's still happening now. We have an opportunity to go beat Alabama and be 6-1, and then they'll say, well, Vanderbilt beat Alabama, so it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Some people are just never happy. Autocoder for 10, someone took over play calling at the end, and we got dynamic and daring results. Getting Nico moving gets us confident in results. Whoever called the first half needs to stop. Predictable as hell. I agree. So do we learn from that and grow? And, Tom for 2, Guck the Faders. Will Dyer for 20. Coach Jay, you hyped up Nico too much last season. My expectations were too high for a freshman. That's why every game since Oklahoma has felt like a loss. It's not your fault. It's mine. Expectations lead to resentments. That is a very well-spoken, thought-out super chat.
Yeah, thank you.
It's true. That's very accurate. Go ahead, Coach.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will. And just for the record, listen, I know a lot of y'all don't think so because a lot of people only hear what they want to hear.
Mhm.
But those who hear what I've been saying, I watched the game last week and downgraded him to a D-. He had mistakes in this game. I want to see this game. I thought he had his moments but I thought his bad moments were too bad for his good moments to outweigh them, I guess is what I'm saying. But my whole thing is a head coach or as a coach in general, I don't ever want to overreact to anything, right? I want to have measured responses and have an honest look at things the way I see them. My evaluation, my thoughts on Nico haven't changed, right? I still think all that talent is there and he'll put it all together. When Arian Carter struggled last year on the field, you know what I mean? He struggled last week against the pass. My thoughts never changed on him. And look at, man, kid had an A+ performance out there tonight. I trust my evaluation with Arian Carter. I'm going to trust my evaluation with Nico. I promised Boogie Bentley on this show I'd always back what I felt and speak what I believe. And gosh dang it, I will do it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's what I'm going to do.
Could I ask a question on one thing, Boogie?
Go, man.
Yeah.
So 9 minutes, 35 seconds around that time, first quarter, we get the ball. We get down to a 3rd and 15, and we run. Okay, we're going back to play calling. A lot of our play calling has been super predictable. Everything's been going a little haywire. Do y'all think that could be because these are teams that were supposed to not give us so much headache? Do you think this could be that we're opening up play calling for better plays or better abilities when it comes to Alabama, when it comes to Georgia, when it comes to these? Are we trying not to show too much, or are we really struggling that much with play calling?
I think we're struggling. Like my thought is if you do that against Chattanooga or Kent State or like Austin Peay last year, right, then I buy into that. But I don't see how you're – at this point, you're 6 games into the season and you have a loss to Arkansas. You got no excuses. You didn't score any points in the first half 2 weeks in a row. We got problems. Like I don't think you can try to save anything for anybody when you've already got a loss on your record. I just don't think you can do that.
And I think the problems are, I think they're more execution related, and the
Correct.
execution,
a lot of it is.
The execution lends itself to the play calling because you can't execute and then you get behind the chains. That hampers the play calling. You're not clicking, you're not rolling on offense. So I think their hands are tied a little bit with the play call. You saw it when the offense started, rolling and they started running tempo. The play calling, it changed tonight. You saw it. When this offense is rolling, I think it's easier to call plays when they're rolling. I think it does open up a bit more. It is less predictable. It is not just, let's try to run between the tackles. You're getting outside, you're spreading it out, you're creating those mismatches. And I think that's what Josh Heupel's offense is built on, is creating the mismatches. Everybody wants to think it's tempo, it's running fast, it's on the ball, lineup. That, to me, and granted, I'm not a coach. It's not Coach Dauber. It doesn't say that up there. But
dang, it should. Can we change your name?
I think, to me, it is. He is calling the game based on creating mismatches, and he is trying to spread the field out. Get the defense spread out between the numbers, and line it up, and then he uses that tempo to set stuff up. And you rip off a chunk play, they're on the ball, and then they're creating those mismatches. They're not allowing you to substitute, and this has been 2 weeks in a row. Where's the tight end? Where's some slant plays?
I don't know. I don't know that the tight ends had 4 catches. 4 out of the 16, a fourth of the offense through the air was to the tight ends.
Yes, but it just they were also on the edge, though. They weren't in the middle of the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I definitely agree they need to attack the middle of the field more.
So
100% agree with that.
That tight end
just not in double coverage.
That tight end up the seam.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah.
Let me say this, and then Coach Jay, you said whatever. Like Dauber talking about, we say this all the time on it. They're always trying to set something up. Everything they do is to set something up. That's why Nico missing the deep balls hurts so bad, because when you set them up, you have to connect.
Well,
you got to connect, and it's a game of inches, man. And I get it. But we crucified Joe for it when we set him up and he missed them, and it can't become a thing. And we've seen it the last couple of weeks. We saw early in the year darts dropping dimes, and we're all celebrating Nico for Heisman. I'm about to get my lay and put it on like that. We need that dude back. We need that assassin back. And it makes it so painful because it's in your face. You got a guy wide open and you overthrew him. Go ahead.
But it might get in trouble. Oh,
no, let Coach Jay.
I was just gonna, and I know I've kind of touched on it already, but Marcus Rush brought up again. I know people are agreed with him in the chat. Yeah, I thought they were going to score when Nico came out 5 for 5 and the fumble happened. Yeah, I think we all agree they were marching. They had the momentum. They had the score. Do I think?
Can I cut you off for 2 seconds?
Yeah. I think I was going to finish it, but go. Yeah.
Stay where you're at. Just because that series, you open with rolling Nico to the right.
Yep.
You run Sampson 2 times. 3rd and 6, wide receiver stacks. We've been asking, where are the wide receiver stacks?
It's in my notes.
Receiver stacks. and then you go Sampson for 6, Sampson for 3. You got the 3rd and 1, and I'm sitting here going, pull it, Nico, and he fumbles. Like play calling. You want to question play calling? That first series was different. Sorry, Coach Jay. I hope I took all of your talking points.
Yeah. Thank you, Boogie. I'll just sit here and look awkwardly now. No, I guess the end point of what Marcus was saying was, do you think that mess with the tempo and all that? Yeah, I do think that, but I also don't think it's an excuse. I also think you need to learn how to fight through that. But I also think those are the things that he's kind of working through and learning through. As of now, I don't think he kind of got that back, till later in the game, we'll call it.
Yeah, if he'd been able to pull that cleanly and take off down the left side there, that would have been a big play, I think. It
was there, by the way. Yeah.
And that was one of my complaints with Joe last year, is that he didn't do that enough. And so now, especially and he had kind of deceptive speed too when he would get an open field, but with somebody like Nico that's got that shake and bake, he ought to be able they ought to incorporate that more. I'm not saying he's got to run it 20 times a game or anything, but like
10. I want 10, Dustin. At least 10.
Yeah, I agree. And I will give him credit for going under center a couple of times during this game, which was nice to see because obviously it makes me nervous as hell, and it's almost giving the ball away half the times when it's like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and we're still in shotgun, you know, and or not, sorry, when it's short, when it's super short and we're still in shotgun. And then, you know, obviously the play that they went for it at our own 15 or 20 and converted that was a big gutsy play call. So I can't remember if we got anything out of that drive, but at least we were continuing to get it out of the end zone area. So I mean, all in all, yeah, we could sit here and nitpick the play calling, but at the same time, like Dauber said, if the execution had been there and some of these plays had worked, or he hits a couple of those passes, then we're like, well, it's, you know, something else.
What'd you think about that though, Dustin? Like him going for it. Because I immediately went to Twitter and said, our coach is back. That's my Josh Heupel. I mean, it's 3:10 to play in the first half. And you know, Florida fumbles on the goal line, and it's like, man, I'm like, how epic would it be? A 99-yard drive. And I get it. Like, people were mad about the play calling there, 3 straight runs. But it's like, you're on your own 1. Like, you're trying to create some space to get some things going. 4th and 1 from your own 10. Josh Heupel says, I'm back. I'm back, boys.
Dude,
go for it.
In fairness, I had written down large letters, too conservative, and they ran the 4th down call, and I was like, no, I'll just cross that out. I'll just shut up and sit in my corner.
Nico threw the pick right after that. So
I think
it did. But at the same time, second drive of the third quarter, you know, that's when they were finding some life, rolling Nico out, letting him, you know, read half the field. 4th and 1. Like, I'm thinking it's 4th and 1 on Florida's 11, and I think it was no, you were down 10 at that point, and I'm going, kick the field goal, man. And Josh, I was like, nope, we're gonna go for it. And Dylan Sampson scores, and I'm like, hindsight's always 20/20, right? Sure. Me, I'm thinking 2-score game, you got to get points here. Josh Heupel's like, I'm showing you guys. Do you read Twitter? Like, he huddles them up and says, do you idiots read Twitter? Like, go out there and pick this yard up and show them that you can play football. Like, he showed confidence in his dudes, and Dylan Sampson puts it in the end zone touchdown, and you got a little fire right there.
So I just want to ask a real question, Dauber. You can answer it and then go on what you're going to say. Has anyone else noticed that every time our check down is the running back to the middle of the field rather than on the swing, Nico finds it? I'm just saying, if I'm the offensive coordinator, and let me be perfectly clear so people just don't pick apart what I didn't say there, I think Nico needs to find that swing too. I'm just saying, if he's finding his check down on that little jut out, or that little jut then flat, or jut then straight forward, make it easy for him, man. It's the first year. That's all. Go ahead, Dauber.
Well, to comment on that, that's hard to know because we don't know the progression. We don't know what it is that he's supposed to be reading, and the 1-2, and what is like the very last read. You know, we talked about it last week. Sampson is running wide open the couple plays before the end of the game, but he's probably at the very, very last read that Nico doesn't get to. But that totally derailed me. I don't know where I was going.
Well, that's a perfect time to read Super Chats if you don't know where you're going. Josh Bailey for 10 had to work. Couldn't play his coach close attention to the game like usual. What improvements on offense y'all may have noticed? Just trying to focus on positive, but a win is a win. I think play calling in the second half, rolling Nico out, getting him moving. You got to run him more, man. I know we're beating it into the ground. This offense is going to work better when you run him. Like, those are the big things for me. Roll Nico out and let him run the football. Johnny for 10, Florida's defense shut us down. Nico is better than what he has shown us. Play calling has got to be better. Tired of running up the middle on 2nd and 3rd down. David for 5 says, I think the SEC is more balanced than it's ever been, except Texas, Bama, Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, A&M, etc. Pretty even across the board this year. Tim for 5, Boogie B, Coach J, I'll buy all the Nico stock. In 3 years, I'll never work again. Will for 5, love and respect you, Coach J. Prayers for your mama. Shout out, Will. We appreciate that. James for 5, we don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee. Timothy for 2, hey, Coach J, will he stay his senior year?
Does he mean Nico by that?
I'm assuming.
Who are you talking about, Tim?
Because it is interesting that his NIL deal was for 3 years. So what happens if?
So I know a lot of people so let's just say it was full fan service. Let's go back in time just a little bit. And this is something I didn't really talk about too much, but I almost wish I would have now talked about it more. Let's go back in time and let's just pretend Nico freaking played with his hair on fire and lit it up and threw for 6 million yards every game this year. Just to have this thought experiment for a second. I always thought that it was a possibility Nico played for his 3rd year. I never saw him as a 2-year and done player. Not because I don't think he's got the talent to. I mean, I like I said, I stand by it. I think he could catch fire next year real dang easily once he's had a year under him and once he gets it all figured out. But he's just got that. He's a real strong family man kid. He's not going to dodge something and go just because a paycheck's there. Nico's the type of kid who's going to want to make sure things are right, make sure everything's sorted, and make sure everything's in a good place. So I didn't necessarily always see him leaving that year. I mean, none of us want to think about it like this, but what if it's that moving into that 3rd year, just everything looks perfect. Like the defense is loaded. We finally got the depth we want on offensive line. We finally got all the cogs in place, and Nico's playing with his hair on fire in his next season. I could see him staying for that year and wanting to do something special. I could, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting because the NIL deal will have to change, obviously.
Sure.
Let's see. Timothy, the Tennessee Tornado for 2. Says GBO fellas, Heupel is what 2-2 against Florida. By the way, shout out Timothy McGee. He dropped another super chat and said he was talking about Nico. Tim, the Tennessee Tornado drops another 2 and says, Boogie B, what do I got to do to be the monthly lead? Are you talking about super chats? The biggest donation of the month is a $100 super chat by Sean Cross. So to take the leaderboard, it's $100.01. If Brad was here, he would probably do it because Brad's petty like that. $100. Shout out Sean Cross, top donation of the month. Shout out Memphis Perry, $50 super chat, top donation of the night. We appreciate all the love and support from you guys. Let me see. Why is that struggling? Man, my computer is struggling. Zeb Williams for 2, keeping your mom in my prayers, Coach Shay. Shout out Zeb. We appreciate you guys. BG for 10. Nico could be the same as Cade Klubnik. There's nothing but time for him. Michael Davis for 5, too close for comfort, but I'm always happy to beat Florida. Could y'all believe it? We went for it on 4th down from our own 10. Insanity. What are we doing? Are we doing this? Are we all doing this? Is this what we're doing? Like, do we need a Dustin and a Nate emoji?
We got this.
I didn't think the chat wanted me to watch Kiss Miss J goodnight. Sorry.
Oh, good night, Miss J. Good night, Miss J.
Good night.
Captain Woodland. By the way, I picked up some 4 Roses for next weekend today. And by the way, when I was at the liquor store to get it, and the guy had to show me where it was, and he had a Tennessee polo on, and I was like, "Hey, I've been in that store many a time." And he's been watching college football, but he's never been watching, obviously, Tennessee because I'm always here. But I was like, "You a Tennessee fan by chance?" He was like, "Oh yeah, man, I pulled for Tennessee and Oregon." I was like, "That's cool." I was like, "You can check. I got a show on YouTube. You should check it out, Talkin VAWLS." And he goes, "I'm not gonna cuss." He goes, "Oh, are you serious?" Like he never put 2 and 2 together who I was. He's like, "Dude, I watched your show." So that's awesome. So shout out to him if he's listening.
And I see you all the time.
Yeah, he's like, "Why are you here all the time, bro?"
See you tomorrow.
Hey, he may or may not grab the double shot of Jim Beam orange and put it on the counter when I walk in because he knows what's coming. Captain Woodland for 5. How many times Nico been picked off? That slant off the left side of the brew. That's where the slant went. GBO. Bill Miller for 5. Not the reason the ball struggled at all, but geez, that might have been one of the worst officiated games I've seen in a long, long time. The second punt return, there were at least 2 blocks in the back. At least 2 blocks in the back. Tyler Maxwell for 5. It was a dog fight, electric atmosphere. I don't have a voice. We got 3rd Saturday in October. Smoking. Is that supposed to be? I don't know anything about cigars. Is that a type of cigar? I'm assuming. Next week in Neyland, GBO. Casey Edwards for 2. One question: can a duck pull a truck. Yes, it can. Memphis Perry
Yes, it
drops
can.
another 50.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Memphis Perry being very, that's two $50 super chats. That's a hundo. We appreciate you, Memphis. He says, Coach Jay, your mom is in my prayers. I will certainly put you and her in the prayer circle at church tomorrow. This post is for you and your mama. Godspeed, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, Memphis Perry. Very, very kind. Appreciate that. Coach Shay knows, man. I don't like to see any of my friends go through tough stuff, but Dauber knows too. Dauber's the first one on my doorstep when my mom passed away. I was like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I don't know. Is there anything I can do?" I'm just. You ever seen that reel on? I can't remember what celebrity it was, and he was talking about he was going through a hard time with one of his kids, and like another guy showed up. He's like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "Because when you get news like this, guys that have your back don't call, they don't text, they just show up." So Dauber knows what it means, and that's why I like watching Coach Jay. I'm like, dude, whatever you need, man. There's nothing like mama. You got to always take care of mama.
I was in school. I was at UT when my dad passed away at 40 from a massive heart attack.
And I think that's why because you've been there, done that. And everybody's circumstances are different, right? Like you losing a parent versus me. It's always different, but you know at the same time what it means.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got you, Coach Jay. We man, it just
100%.
All right, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're gonna segue back to smashing the thumbs up. We only got 500 thumbs up. Why are we not to 750?
Come on now.
If you're watching, it's Late Night Talking Balls. Smash a thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds. We would appreciate it. Smash it just below the video. Quick, free, easy. It does help the channel. Also, go check out the Talking Balls merch. Bonfire.com/store/Talking Balls. That link is in the description below. You want to rep Talking Balls for life? We got this VWO shirt. We've also got Cruton with Boogie and the Coaches, Lurker, all kinds of fun designs at bonfire.com/store/Talking Balls. The link in the description below. You want to support the channel by becoming a member? We're giving away one of these shirts. Actually, you know what? We're going to give away a Buck Fama shirt next Wednesday. I think that's what we're going to give away. It's
beautiful.
Buck Fama week. We're going to give away a Buck Fama shirt next Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're giving away a free shirt to a member of the channel every month throughout the course of the season. So you can hit that join button, or there's also a link in the description below where you can become a member of the channel. It's only $1, and I get it. It's free. We don't expect anything from anybody. But if you like what we do around here, whether it's post-game shows, videos, morning streams, whatever it is, you can support us by hitting that join button. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's tie a big fat bow on this win over Florida. I'll sleep on this thing and drop the day after video bright and early. We're going to do the fan call-in show tomorrow night at 7. We're going to make some changes next week. I'll announce this throughout the course of the week, but obviously as long as everything's good with Coach Jay's mom, Coach Jay and Mrs. Coach Jay are coming in town for the Bama game, and then they're going to ride up here and spend the night with us. So Sunday night, there will not be any content. Monday morning, no Boogie and Kaner. We're going to move. I would rather you guys get a voice. Kaner has a voice. Kaner doesn't need to come on this channel. So we are going to move the fan call-in show from Sunday to Monday and not stream in the morning. Streaming twice in one day is death on this channel on YouTube. So make sure you guys, that's just going to be a schedule note for next week. But tomorrow, day after video, and then we'll do the fan call-in. Coach Jay, tie big fat bow. We'll go around the room. Final thoughts on the win.
A win's a win. At the end of the day, 2-1 out of your last 3 against Florida. Listen, it doesn't change anything. I'm saying what everyone already knows here. We need to get better before next week. It can be done. There were glimpses of it in this game. As a coach, I always look for things that I can pull from and pull out and duplicate and get better with. This game was very, very far from perfect, but there's still a lot of things that I think this team can build on and work with that happened in this game. I think we can do it. We just got to execute. We got to do it. We got to play hard. I hope to God that Lance Hurd is getting in some kind of playing shape, being out there as many plays as he was. Hopefully that's his silver lining, because, that's been tough, but we need to expand on what we did well. We need to figure out what was working for us and then replicate that at a high level and execute that at a high level.
So the train got back on the tracks. I remembered what I was going to say earlier.
Oh, Lord, it's a hard process, Dauber. I get it.
I know.
I hope he's going to Coach Jay, I hope he's going to tie this into his final thought.
It is.
I hope.
It's all going around.
I don't know. Sometimes I ask you about the running backs, you start talking about the secondary, and I don't know where we're going. So I hope tie a big fat bow on it, Dauber. Let's do it. All right.
So you talked about Napier and his play calling, his coaching, his game management, and then we talk about Heupel and going forward on that fourth and short and way inside your own territory. It's one of those things. It's two completely opposite scenarios. You know, one guy is coaching for his life, and the other guy's coaching to win the ball game. If you can't see what Josh Heupel and staff has done, the turnaround that they've made, I think you're a casual fan. You maybe want to look back in the books and look at where this team was. Maybe go back and look at the Fall of the Ball series that we did on this channel and see how dark times were. But to wrap it all up, I'll say, just like I said last week, all the goals for this team are still attainable. Everything is still out in front of them. They have everything to play for. End result, you got the W tonight. It wasn't how we wanted it to come. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't sexy. We didn't, light up Florida, but we found a way to get it done. We've got to move on from Saturday night. Well, it's Sunday morning right now. And you've got to look ahead to what's coming, because it doesn't get any easier. We saw that. Just because you're at home doesn't make it easy. I think there's parity in the SEC, aside from maybe Texas. I think any given Saturday, you're going to get the best shot from whoever is lining up across from you. And what it comes down to is all 11 on that side of the ball executing at the same time. So, hopefully we learn from mistakes, we grow, and we get better.
Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. First, Vols fan 89 becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that. Knoxville Buckeye for 2 exit fee. GBO campus traffic wasn't that bad. Thanks, Knoxville Buckeye. By the way, the memberships, man, you never know where you're going to end up with a membership, right? We do fan call-in shows every Sunday, every Saturday for the tailgate show. Coach Jay came from fan call-ins. Nate came from fan call-ins. Captain D came from fan call-ins. I'm attached at the hip with Dauber. I can't get rid of this. Dauber's winning y'all. I can't even bust Dauber's balls anymore without y'all yelling at me and say, let him talk. When I let him talk, he never shuts up. Like, what are you talking about? I thought I had your all's back. I'll let him talk from now on. You guys got it. Rob Baxter for 5. I was at the game tonight and about had a heart attack. Guys, please give me your opinion on what's going on with the offense, GBO. That came through at 12:33. Should we start the show over?
Okay, rewind.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Coach Jay's in the house. Watch the replay. We've already broke all of it down. Tim, the Tennessee Tornado, is probably on the Jim Beam. He probably stopped by to see my buddy at the liquor store. We'll play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I think he needs this one too.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
Tim, the Tennessee Tornado, for $200. Top donation of the night, top donation of the month. That is very generous, man. I appreciate that. He says, here y'all go, Talkin VAWLS. Love y'all. Thank all of y'all for what you do. GBO Vols will beat Bama. I'm here for it. I'm here. That is very generous, man. I never know how to react, and I get real awkward when people drop super chats like that because I don't know what else to say other than thank you. Like I get to do this for a living because of people like Tim. So thank you. It means a lot, and I appreciate it. I don't know what else to say. Nate, final thoughts on the win over Florida.
Man, we've said a lot tonight, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We didn't play great, but we played good enough to get the win. And this is something that this team has struggled with for years years in the past. We'd get down and we didn't know how to win. We'd get behind and we couldn't figure it out. This team figured it out. It was an ugly win, but it was a win. Let's be happy that we beat Florida. We had that good W to carry around at the house. And then let's get ready for 10-19. Right now it's looking like they got Alabama for 54.5 and us 45.5 on chances of victory right now. So let's get the upset. Let's go and let's tear down some more goalposts.
No, we expected to win, Nate. We expect to beat Alabama. We're not tearing down any more goalposts. We just gonna win and smoke our cigars. I'm buying two, by the way. I don't do that. I've never in my lifetime bought cigars for a Tennessee-Alabama game. But because Mr. and Mrs. Coach J going to fly out from California, and they're going to be here hanging out with me in East Tennessee, guess who's going to have two cigars to smoke on the next day? And if they lose, we'll probably smoke them anyway.
Yeah. for what it's worth, everyone, the Vols are undefeated when Coach J is in the house. The Vols are undefeated when Coach J is in Neyland. So
that is a fact.
It's worth
Wayne's
something.
dropping a 50 spot. Man, y'all going nuts as we're trying to get out the door. Wayne, we appreciate you. We'll play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I played the wrong clip. Wayne says, can't do a hundo, but can I hear Pat back to back? Sure, Wayne.
Rocky Top, you'll always be. Rocky Top, you'll always be.
I know people are gonna get mad. They're gonna get mad at me. But I'm gonna do it anyway. We played this in the tailgate show. Georgia's a long ways off, but I love you guys, and you guys make things bits, and you guys make things fun. So I'm gonna play this anyway.
I love that.
That all came about because Coach Jay said somebody needs to put music behind the clip of me talking about
did.
Georgia. And so they go full steam ahead, and it's like, and Coach Jay, I love that Coach Jay leans into the bit and he's like turning up the dial and playing into it, and that they actually clip back and forth. I love y'all, man. I love you all. When you do stuff like that, it makes what we do a whole lot more fun. Rob Baxter pretends his prayers for Coach Jay. Sorry for the late join in. It's all good, Rob. We appreciate that super chat. Catch the rewatch. A lot said tonight. Dustin, it's on you, brother. You got a tie bow on it and send us home. Final thoughts.
Yeah, just a culmination of everything that everybody said. Not a sexy win. We might have to get used to winning this way this year, or at least up to this point. But, the next game is the next game. So we've got all the potential in the world to light a fire again under the offense and get things rolling, man. There's no reason why with a offensive mind like Heupel and the talent that we do have, they've just got to get a little bit tighter on things, and those plays will start to come. I'm really confident about that because it's going to get tougher. So we can't take a week off because that 1 week we had off did not go so well. So we gotta keep the momentum going, and regardless of who we're playing, we gotta bring our A game. And I think if we can get the offense back up to our standards, or even close to that, we're going to be a tough team to beat. So I'm all in, baby.
I know I said it when things were going our way versus last week after the loss, but if this defense plays like they played all year and we figure it out on offense, guess what the beautiful thing is about college football now? 12-man playoff, Tennessee makes it in, you sneak in, you slide in, and Tennessee's offense gets it figured out, and we got this defense. Nobody wants to see us on the other side of the bracket. We got a lot to fix, a lot to do before that happens. But if it happens, Tennessee's going to be dangerous. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Late night Talkin VAWLS. Guess what? Thank the good Lord above. We got an afternoon game next week. I ain't got to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning because I can't go to bed. It's almost 1 o'clock. I'm going to sit up here for an hour and read VolQuest and watch videos. It takes me a minute to come down from a post-game show. So guess what, though? We'll go to sleep. We'll put away some emotions, and we'll try to talk about this thing bright and early tomorrow morning for the day after video. Make sure you tune in for that. Fan call-in show tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You guys have a voice. We're going to do it just like we did last Sunday and let people rotate through. That's the best way to do it. I thought it went great. That's the way we'll do it tomorrow night. For Coach Jay, we're praying for you, brother. For Dauber, for good old Nate Pruitt, I appreciate you, man. Hit me up, like authentic. You hit me up right after talking to Coach Jay. I love having you on. I love talking. You're even kill. You bring balance to some emotional psychopaths. And also for Captain D, man, it's always we lost because he didn't show up last week to do his work. Yeah, Dustin, plug your stuff, man. If you want, you're a musician. You're out there on the grind. You're on the hustle. I found you on Instagram. Me and my wife love live music. We got to come see you play, bro. Yeah, plug your stuff if you want. Like, where can people find you, your music, all that good stuff?
Well, my last name is Sellers, Sellers, Dustin Sellers. So it's on, Spotify and iTunes. Kind of, you would think I would be like the most country wannabe Morgan Wallen type writer, but I'm nothing like that. I'm more anywhere from like Beatles to Kings of Leon, Foo Fighters kind of stuff. So, and piano stuff too. I write a little bit of everything. So, doing my thing out here in Nashville. I was playing back home in Knoxville to, I don't know if y'all been to Preservation Pub in a hot minute and in Market Square, but I kept watching the game kind of as we're playing because you kind of see the TV like, okay, we got 14-3, we got this. And then I got off the stage a little while later. I'm like, freaking kidding me. So I threw all the superstitions off. I wasn't able to have my hat on the right way. I wasn't able to put the old school radio on in the kitchen and, all these stupid little things that I do. So I'm sorry, guys. I freaking jinxed it. I won't have it again. That was the one loss. That was the one loss. And we're good now. We're good.
Fault. It's all your fault.
You can forgive him and go check out Dustin Sellers. Go check out his music. I should have done that a long time ago. And I just never
put some on this show, baby. I'll put some.
There you go. Let's something together. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. We're out the door. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow. For Coach Jay, for Dauber, for good old Nate Pruitt, for Captain D, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.